Hey guys, if you do not have your board marker eraser or paper and a pencil, pause this video right now and grab your materials. So in today's mini lesson, we talked about what do we do when we have two fractions that we can't use any of our tips and tricks, like comparing to a half, or they both have the same numerator, or they both have the same denominator. So what do we do to compare them, to figure out which one is greater than, less than, or equal to? So what we talked about is now we have to go back to what we learned in a previous lesson, and we have to find our common denominators. And once we find our common denominators, now we're going to be able to compare, because then we can use our trick of what do we do when the denominator's the same. So when we're finding our common denominators, remember we have to find the least common multiple for 12 and for 8. So on your board, I would like for you to go ahead and write these down with me as well. And we're going to write down all of the multiples that we know for 12 and 8. And we're going to find the least common multiple. So 8 times 1, we have 8. 8 times 12, we have 12. Okay, do they have anything in common yet? Nope, so we move on. 8 times 2 equals 16. 12 times 2 equals 24. Do we have anything in common yet? Nope, we keep moving on. 8 times 3 equals 24. 12 times 3, oh, do I even need to do 12 times 3? Nope, because they have a least common multiple. So we have 24. So now we've discovered that if we turn both of these fractions into something with 24 as a denominator, then we're going to be able to easily compare our two fractions now. So now we need to turn 6/12 into something over 24. So we got to set up our problem first. So 6/12 equals something over 24. And then we got to set up 5/8. We have 5/8 equals, my handwriting is pretty awful on this, so sorry. 5/8 equals something over 24. So now that we've set up our problem, now we get to easily compare. So let's find what our equivalent fraction is. So 12 times what equals 24? 12 times 2. So now whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So 6 times 2 equals 12. So now this isn't exactly 6/12 anymore. Now we can view it as 12/24. Okay? Now let's see what 5/8 turns into. 8 times what equals 24? 8 times 3. So whatever I do to the denominator, I have to do to the numerator. So 5 times 3 equals 15. So now this isn't 5/8 anymore, it's actually 15/24. So now that I remember what I learned in previous lessons, that when the denominator is the same, the bigger the numerator, the bigger the fraction. So which one has a bigger numerator? 15/24 or 5/8. All right, go ahead and on your board, I would like for you to please write, actually let's go ahead and do this one. Go ahead on your board, please write 4/5 and 2/3. I would like for you to pause this video right now and find your least common multiple. Go ahead and begin. All right, so now that you found your least common multiple, let's just double check. Remember, we're listing out the multiples of 5 and 3 because we're trying to find the same denominator, so that's what we're looking for. So 3 times 1 is 3, 5 times 1 is 5. Anything in common? Nope. 3 times 2 is 6, 5 times 2 is 10. Anything in common? Okay. 3 times 3 is 9, 5 times 3 is 15. Anything in common? Okay. 3 times 4 is 12, 5 times 4 is 20. Anything in common? Okay. 3 times 5 is 15, 5 times 5, oh, do I even need to do that? No, because I have a least common multiple of 15. All right, did you get 15 for your least common multiple? Perfect. So now I want for you to pause this video and I want for you to turn 4/5 and 2/3 into something over 15. Go ahead and begin. So now that you have figured out what 4/5 is with 15 as a denominator and 2/3 is with 15 as a denominator, let's go ahead and double check our answers. So I hope that before you even begin doing anything, you completely set up your problem to make sure that you are doing it correctly. So just like how I have, this is how we should have begun our problem. That way we're going step by step. So now that we've set up our problem, now let's think 5 times what equals 15? 5 times 3. So 4 times 3 equals 12. So now we're going to think of 4/5 as actually 12/15. And then we're going to try to change 2/3 into something over 15. So 3 times what equals 15? 3 times 5. So 2 times 5 equals 10. So now instead of thinking of 2/3 as 2/3, now we're going to think of it as 10/15. So which one's larger? When the denominator is the same, the bigger the numerator, the bigger the fraction. Well, technically, then that would mean that 12/15 is larger, or 4/5 because they are equivalent fractions. All right, take your time, make sure that you go step by step when you are solving your problems today. Good luck.